Hi. So now we are going to talk about the multi-tenancy in VMware Aria automation. With the multi-tenancy, a single instance of the VMware Aria automation can be shared by multiple customers, and each tenant can have their own project, flavor mapping, image mapping, tags, deployments, and so on. So how do we configure multi-tenancy? Is first we'll configure the DNS records for each and every user. Then we'll create the multi-tenancy certificate and import that multi-tenancy certificate. Apply that multi-tenancy certificate to the workspace one access and configure the multi-tenancy in workspace one access because each tenant might have a different AD. Then after that, we'll apply a multi-tenancy certificate on VMware Aria automation and configure the VMware multi-tenancy on the VMware Aria automation. This is procedure we follow to configure the multi-tenancy in the VMware Aria automation. VMware has provided us a simulated environment and they have doesn't have a actual lab for multi-tenancy. So we'll follow the instructions what may VMware have provided. First, we'll create the DNS. Then we'll create the SSL certificate as we have mentioned. Those SSL certificate will replace the SSL certificate of the VMware Aria automation. Replace the workspace one access SSL certificate. Then enable the multi-tenancy on the workspace one access, create the tenant, create the VP zone, and allocate the VP zone to the tenant one and configure the tenants. So we'll start the simulation and perform all these tasks to have a experience of multi-tenancy and virtual private zones. Open. This is a DNS manager. So we have VRA lifecycle and identity manager. The IP is 62, 63, and 61, and we'll add the A record for default tenant. Then we'll add the tenant one. Then we'll add the tenant two. All of those are pointing to same IP. Now we'll create the CNAME. This is for tenant 2. Now we'll review the DNS records. For IDM, it is 172.20.10.62. So if we'll see in here, IDM is a workspace access. So it has the same IP for all the tenants. And we create the CNAME. Now we'll open the Chrome. We'll open the lifecycle. As we have understood that the lifecycle is the one who take care of the all certificates and passwords. This is a console of the lifecycle manager. We'll select the lockers. We can see the certificate, licenses, password. We'll generate the SSL certificate, giving the name certificate. Common name VIDM. Organization VMware. you OU education. This is for the default tenant. Then we'll give the IP. This is the IP of workspace access 1. We created the VIDM certificate. Now we'll generate for the VRA. Let's say VRA 01 E class. This is the IP for the VRA. So we got the certificate for both workspace access 1 and the VRA. Now we have this VRA environment, and this is for workspace 1 access, and this is VRA. We have to sync the inventory. So this is a request. Now just like VRA, then after syncing we'll replace the certificate. We'll select the certificate for VRA. We have all these subject alternative names. We'll run the pre-check. It has passed. We'll click finish. Certificate has been validated. Now what we did VRA, we have to do similarly on the workspace 1 access. So we'll go in here, click on sync, then we'll go a few details. Just like that, we'll replace the certificate. We'll see the our subjective alternate name is this. We'll in here we'll go and replace with the VIDM certificate. Now see the subject alternate name is different. We'll click next and we'll click next, next. Run pre-checks. Now we can see data store to enable snapshot for the rollback. It has passed. And this is the validation report for the workspace 1 access. We'll accept and finish. Now we'll open identity, tenant and tenant management. This is how where we will manage tenancy, tenant management, enable the tenancy. We'll give a name. And here we can see the request, and we'll add the tenant. Tenant 1, give a full name, last name, add. Save and next. We'll select the VRA, save and next, run the pre-checks, save and next, and this is how we create the tenant 1. Now we'll proceed and create the tenant 2. We want to migrate the directors from the master tenant to the new tenant. We'll keep it unchecked. We'll create on this VRA. We'll run pre-checks. Then we'll create this tenant 2. We'll verify the request. Now we'll open a VRA automation, login with a config admin, config admin, login, open. Click on Cloud Assembly. In infrastructure, this is virtual private zone. Click on virtual private zone. Name it VPZ01. We'll add the account, data center. Then we'll select the compute. We'll select manually. We'll click on this, compute 1, add. We'll click on storage. Click on networking tab, add the network as a production. So we added compute, zone, storage, network for the new virtual private zone. This is VPZ01. Open the tenant management page. Tenant 1 will allocate the VPZ01 to allocate the tenant, and in here we can see the organization detail tenant 1. There's no image as of now, no flavor. Now click here, open tenant 1, log into tenant 1 using tenant 1 admin. We'll create the project for this tenant. Tenant 1 project. We'll select the user. We'll add the user. Tenant 1. We added the member. VPZ, virtual private zone, which we have created. We'll select that. We'll create. So we have created a project in that VPC. Click on flavors. Add the flavor. Big and small. One GB memory. We create the flavor. Now we'll create the image mapping. T1 CentOS. Select the image and we'll create tenant 1. Now we'll sign out. Now we'll log into tenant 2. Login. Tenant 2 admin. Vmware. We can see there's no project right now because that project was created in tenant 1. We can click on flavors. There's no flavor. We can see image mapping. There's no image mapping. This is how multi-tenancy is achieved. Project was visible for that tenant 1 only. So this is a complete lab on multi-tenancy in VMware Aria automation.